Welcome to 15 Minutes in the Word with New York Times bestselling author Joyce Meyer. On today's program, Joyce will be teaching from her series, Unleashing God's Wisdom. On any given day, there can be multiple decisions, all of them needing answers. Whether it's one big decision or many small daily choices, each of us face these dilemmas in life, and it can be overwhelming to confront them alone. But there is hope. God has the answers, and in this series, Joyce will help teach how to receive God's wisdom and guidance for every single day. Now here's Joyce with today's series, Unleashing God's Wisdom.
Foolishness means without common sense. You know, I really believe, if you want to know the truth, I think one of the reasons why our ministry has lasted all these years and we've enjoyed success is Dave and I are not highly educated, but we've just got a lot of common sense. And you know, when you have common sense, there's just some things you don't get up in front of people and say. There's some things you don't do. I mean, we've got enough common sense to know that if you want to have people work for you, you got to treat them decent. And, you know, just common sense goes a long way. It amazes me, some of the foolish things that people do. Last night there was a special on television. It was on for quite a long time about a man that's an atheist that's written a lot of books that are all bestsellers, and I think his latest one is God is Not Great. Anyway, they said he is an avowed atheist and a great intellectual. I thought, well, that's an oxymoron. How can you be an intellectual atheist? Because if you've got any brain at all, even a small one, then you have to know that God is. I mean, how do we think that all of this just plopped up here one day? I mean, honestly, some of the shows on television, I mean, there was this thing on everything, and in 10 million years, they evolved into this, and in 40 billion years, they evolved into that. Sometimes I like to look at the animals and, you know, the nature and stuff, and I just ignore all the other silliness. But the other night there was a program on that was going to be 2 hours long about how the earth was formed. I thought, I know I can't do that one, because I would have been mad after step one. Why can't we just say, and God made it, and God did it, and God is? That man's not a wise man. He may be intellectual, but he's not wise. You can have 5 college degrees and still be foolish. Because wisdom is what will promote you, and I'm not against education, but you can have a lot of education and still be very dumb. Because it's all about what you do. Wisdom is just plain common sense. If you want to have friends, treat people right. If you want to have people like you, don't try to control them all the time. There's just a few basic guidelines that, you know, are pretty cool. Not too hard. Living your life imprudently is foolish. Living inconsiderately, not governing your lusts, being dull and sluggish and foolish. Well, we see that wisdom is exercised in the choices that we make. Let's talk about 5 areas. 5 areas where we need to use wisdom, because wise choices release power in our life. First area I want to talk to you about is using wisdom in time management. You know, everybody's got the same amount of time. Every single person on the planet gets 24 hours a day. So why is it that some people accomplish so much and some people accomplish nothing? Why is it that some people are peaceful and they seem to get a fair amount done, but they enjoy the journey? And other people are just frustrated and frantic and ready to tear their hair out all the time, spending all kinds of money on stress medicine. It's all about choice. Poor time management creates stress, and it drains your power. It's just kind of like we've all got a power pipe connected to God, but when we do foolish things, it's like poking holes in that power pipe, and the power drains out. You have to live with margin. Margin means you leave a little time in between things to breathe, to think, to be, to enjoy. And I know about this because I've lived on both sides of it. I was a massive, major workaholic. And I decided a few years ago that I wasn't going to live like that anymore. And I honestly just got to the point where I told Dave, I said, either things are going to change or we're going to downsize this ministry because I am not going to live like this anymore. And I had to learn a lot of things. I had to learn that I'm not the only one that can help people. And I had to learn that no matter how many people you help, there's still going to be millions that need to be helped. And it's not going to help anybody if I kill myself trying to help people. And one of the main things, believe it or not, that Jesus died for us to have is joy. He said, I came that you might have and enjoy your life and have it in abundance to the full until it overflows. And I believe it's my responsibility to enjoy the life that God has given me. I actually think that I'm not doing God justice if I do nothing but work. I don't think it's godly to do that. Matter of fact, I think when we do that, we're breaking every kind of commandment and all the health rules that are out there. Well, you can complain about your schedule and complain and complain and complain, but you're the only one that can change it. You made it, you're the only one that can change it. Now see, right there we have again responsibility. How many of you feel like you're too busy? See, some of you have been so busy you're too tired to put your hand up, but how many of you have more than an occasional, we all have an occasional day of frustration because we get a little more on our plate or we have plans and something happens and, we can handle those days. Our body is built to handle those days. Everybody's going to have to hurry occasionally or push it in high gear occasionally, or you may have a little season, a couple of weeks where you have to do something like that. But if it becomes more than occasionally, and you would say that a peaceful day is the occasional thing, then there's a problem. Let me tell you loud and clear, it is a problem if you're living like that. And you will pay the price for it sooner or later. Your body will begin to break down under it. You're not going to be happy, and usually unhappy people make other people unhappy. And we end up blaming everybody else because we're not happy when really we're the only one that can do anything about it. Now look at Mama Joyce for a minute and I'm going to tell you something. Everybody looking? Everybody watching my TV looking? Quit combing your hair for a minute. Quit putting on your makeup. Quit cooking your breakfast and look. If you are not happy, then do something about it. How totally useless it is to just sit around and be unhappy and blame somebody else. God will change things in our life, but it's not going to come from waving a magic wand over us. He's going to show us something to do or tell us something not to do. And then when we obey God, things will change. I mean, sometimes it's just super simple. I was feeling so bad a few weeks ago. I know now what my problem was, but I didn't know what was wrong with me. I was just like, could barely put one foot in front of the other one. And I'm normally not like that. Dave and I went shopping. This is how bad it was. And I said, I'm staying in the car. You shop. Now, ladies, that's bad. Not only did I not get to shop, I didn't get to have an opinion about what he was buying. That's like double bad. So I finally prayed. It's amazing how miserable we are before we pray. And I didn't just say, God, make this go away. I think all too often we're just like, God, make this go away. When we should say, God, what's wrong? What's the root of this? What's the problem here? Not just fix me one more time so I can have another problem tomorrow, but what is the root of this issue? And I had started taking a bottle of herbs that were all mixed up that was supposed to help you really sleep good at night. And boy, they were knocking me out, but they were making me sick the next day. There was something in them that just didn't agree with my system. The minute I stopped taking them, I was fine. Well, I could have went for days and days. Oh God, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong with me. Throwing those pills in my mouth every night and not even making the connection. I think there's a lot of things that we do and we're hurting ourselves and we don't even stop long enough to make the connection. Every problem you have is not a deep, spiritual, demonic issue. Several years ago, my husband was having what he called the yips, which really he was just feeling real shaky and nervous. And Dave is like Mr. Calm and Cool, so that was not normal. And he went around like that for a while. Finally, he asked God what was wrong. And God showed him that he was drinking about 3 quarts of Dr. Pepper every day. He was stopping and getting these, well, not 3 quarts, but a lot. Big, these were big. Dave tells me I exaggerate. Well, you know, you got to make your point. Big. You were getting a couple of those a day, right? Oh, get out of here. A couple of them a day. Great big one every day. And then, you know, if he eats too much sugar, it bothers him. No. Well, he was doing it to himself. But until he took the time to ask God. Some of you have got some problems that you have been dealing with for way too long. And if you just will ask God, you know, you might say to him, God, why am I tired all the time? And he might say, you eat too much. Well, that went over good, didn't it? Maybe I'll try something else. Try it on this side of the room. God, why am I so tired all the time? You eat too much. I'm staying over here. They're more spiritual than you are. God is the God of a second chance. I'm coming back. We'll try something new. God, why am I so tired all the time? You need to go to bed at night. You know, you have to learn to do what's wise for you. I'm in bed every night at 9 o'clock. I'm asleep by 9:30. I get up every morning at 5:30. I spend at least 2 or 3 hours with God before I go out the door because I want to be nice. I want to act like what I say that I represent, and I need a lot of help. So in order for me to get up early and spend that time with God, which I know that I am desperate for, I have to go to bed. Now, you should see people when they ask me to go maybe like to a play or a show that starts at 8 o'clock, and I say, nope, can't do that. My kids tease me, Mom, the street lights are coming on, you better run home. But you know what? I don't care because I'm 67 and I feel great.
Thanks for listening. James 1:5 encourages us that if we desire wisdom, we need only ask God and it'll be given. So what are we waiting for? It begins with trust. Trusting Him opens the door to His leading. As we make the journey with God and His Word, we'll discover that no matter how big or small the issue, He is ready to help guide us. As we learn to make right choices today, we'll be happier with our tomorrow. For more resources from Joyce, visit joycemeyer.org.
Are you focused on your blessings or are you focused on your problems? You know, whatever you focus on is what becomes bigger in your life.
Can God use a simple concept to help us through life's challenges?
I've written a book called The Power of Thank You. Such a simple book, such a simple principle, but life-changing. Learn to be a grateful person. I believe it's going to add a lot of joy to your life.
The Power of Thank You. Order your copy today at joycemeyer.org.
Thank you for listening to 15 Minutes in the Word with Joyce.